In 1969, Hawke, who prior was the research officer for the president of the ACTU, then ran and was elected president. Despite him having no experience or previous standing in the unions, Hawke was backed by the left factions and even the Communist Party-led unions, as they hoped Hawke would be more militant than the previously more conservative ACTU leadership. The communist leader of the Builders Workers Industrial Union, for example, described Hawke as a very strong, positive left force, and at that stage, he was very amenable and susceptible to collective consideration of matters. Hawke was, however, a very experienced chameleon, in the words of the CIA. Right after his election in 1969, several of the US labor attachés, the CIA, cultivated Hawke and had many long private conversations, all of which were written up by and relayed to the State Department. In fact, as early as 1966, the US was sizing up Hawke as a potential prime minister, saying Hawke was regarded as brilliant and by some people even as a possible future prime minister of Australia. The relationship between Hawke and the CIA goes back to his election in 1969, where he got out with beers with the US labor attachés. One particularly contrasting evening was a speech where he condemned the US's Holocaust in Vietnam, afterwards jokingly asking one of these agents if he had hit them too hard on Vietnam. Between 1973 and 1979, Hawke spoke extensively to US agents and diplomats, informing them on various issues. The US ambassador to Australia, Marshall Green, a man who was told by then President Richard Nixon that normally I wouldn't send you to a place like Australia, but right now it is critically important, a man who was involved in the US's meddling in countries like Indonesia, said in 1974 that it will be worth our while to make a real effort to develop a worthwhile program for Bob Hawke. He referred to left-wing unions as industrial idiots whilst disclosing their financial information to the CIA. He called Whitlam stupid and was apparently so vitriolic about Whitlam that the CIA refused to document the specific language he used. He regularly informed Marshall Green on union disputes against American multinational companies and bragged to diplomats like Green about his ability to stop militant unions from pursuing their ambitions. If you want a full deep dive of Hawke's involvement with the CIA and its consequences for Australia, check out this video here, but this importantly was key in neutralizing any potential challenges to US hegemony in Australia. Particularly by getting the Communist Party behind Hawke and the Accord, the US were able to de-radicalize the labour movement through a more effective little here, little there kind of approach, as opposed to the more overt union bashing pursued by their friends in the Liberal Party. Helping to marshal the labour movement and contain the damage to the United States was, as the cables show, an integral part to Hawke's relationships with the foreign officials.